What is up, Waffle Gang? I too hope you are well. My name is Mark, and today we're checking out some r/am I the butthole. If you'd like to skip the initial waffle, timestamps are in the description and on the timeline below. But if you are new here, please consider hitting that like, the subscribe, and maybe that notification bell too, because it all massively helps our channel. It really does. And with that being said, let's just crack straight on with today's stories. Much love, guys. Now, this first story does come up with an update afterwards. So Al4 Learned 3 says, am I the arsehole for banning my husband's friend from our house? Sorry for the formatting and any grammatical mistakes. My husband and I have been together for 10 years, including 6 years married, and have a beautiful 1-year-old. He has a best friend from his college years. They're very close, and since they are both only child, formed a brotherly bond. His friend and I never got along well. At first, he was jealous that my husband was in a relationship and seemed disgustingly in love with me, in his own words. As years passed, become more civil towards me, but I'm too socially shy and introverted, so we never became friends or anything. I admit I don't like to hang out with him and avoid him, but he comes often to my house, and every time I cook or bake something special, it's the only way we can get along. I did this because I know how close my husband and him are. Recently, my husband got a new cell phone and handed it to me because he always forgets his passwords. So I was downloading his chat's backups when I saw a recent message from his friend that him telling ex-girl was really disappointed he didn't show up again. I was intrigued, so I opened the chat and oh man, the whole chat was filled with messages from his friend encouraging him to meet with this girl. My husband brushed him all the time, but he kept insisting. At some point, his friend told him this girl was way younger than me and her body was way hotter, and that my husband had to admit my body has changed a lot after my pregnancy. Even mentioned that this girl's vagina will be tighter. Disgusting. I've never felt so dragged. His friends messaged him multiple times saying he was drinking with his girlfriend and this girl who was willing, and called him a pussy when he refused. I confronted my husband and said that in fact his friend has been being more a jerk than usual, but he never actually considered cheating on me with this girl or anybody else for that matter. I trust him, but I don't trust his friend. I don't want to be that type of wife and tell him who he can't be friends with, but I made it very clear I didn't want his friend to put a foot in my house again or be near my daughter that recently started calling him uncle. My husband agrees but thinks banning him from this house is too much. Said he would have a serious talk with him about his disgusting behavior, but the banning was too much and this is his house too, so should have a say. That led us to a fight because I'm adamant they could stay friends, but not in my house. My husband thinks I'm the arsehole for trying to rule who can and who can't come to our house. Am I the arsehole here? So this guy comes into your house and he's basically trying to break up your relationship by trying to encourage your husband to go with another woman and even talked about your body after pregnancy, which is absolutely disgusting behavior. So you have every right to ban him. And trying to put myself in husband's shoes and, someone was talking about my girlfriend or wife in that way. That's not a friend to me. That is a disgusting person who I wouldn't want to be related to in any way, So absolutely not the arsehole in this situation. And I'm going to be very interested in this update. But let's cover a couple of comments first to see what they say. So Gummy Gummagaff says, not the arsehole. Your husband should have spoken to him when he started the conversation around him leaving you for someone younger. Allowing it to continue has just sent the message that is not rejecting it completely. Also insisting on remaining friends with someone who clearly wants to ruin his relationship. The friend is disgusting and should not be allowed in your home. To which Daydreaming Bitch replies they're saying, this isn't a friend. A friend won't actively and so blatantly trying to ruin a friend's marriage. This guy wants to throw a hand grenade at OP's relationship and watch it burn. The sad thing is that OP's husband still doesn't see that this isn't a friend. What a sad situation. Not the arsehole, but OP, if you're reading this, please ask your husband to take a closer look at whom he brings around himself and his family in the guise of calling themselves a friend. And Raiden Burr says, he must be banned from your home for talking so disgustingly about you and trying to separate you from your husband. You feed him and respect him as a special guest, and he turned out to be evil and wanted to destroy your household. No, he is not allowed again. He could find another place for his dirty plans. And why Secret Squirrel Y says, not the arsehole. In fact, I think you're still underreacting here. Why did your husband even want to be friends with this person? He's disrespecting your marriage and you as his friend's wife, actively trying to sabotage your marriage while smiling in your face. This is really disgusting behavior, and being banned from your house and child should be the first step. Now let's move over to the update to see what that says. So update, am I the arsehole for banning my husband's best friend from our house? Thank you for all your responses. Some people asked me for an update. Yesterday after breakfast, I sat with my husband to have a talk. I told him he was right, banning this friend was wrong. They will meet anywhere else where he can still actively drag me down and encourage him to cheat. Plus, I don't want my daughter to be near a grown man that was constantly thinking about how tight a young girl's vagina may be. I didn't mention it in my post, but the girl's in her early 20s, while we're all in our mid-30s. My husband was mad at me for insinuating that his friend was a perv, and was even more mad because I was now saying he should cut his friendship out. I told him I feel disappointed that he let someone talk of me and my body that way. I was disappointed that someone tried to sabotage our marriage and he let him get away with it. If the family we had built was less important than his brotherhood, he should go ahead and tell me already, so I won't be losing my time. He said I was right, but I couldn't possibly understand him because I came from a large family. I pointed out that he has a family now, and his family must come first in any friendship, brotherhood, or whatever. He agreed. Well, later that day, his friend came over to pick up something. They ended up hanging out in our front yard for 2 hours, and my husband even took our daughter to uncle and play. I was seeing red. I waited till the friend left, packed mine and my girl's stuff, and left to my parents. I messaged him. He had 2 options: to man up and stick to his family, or see us in court. I wasn't about to take any disrespect from nobody, not him, not his friend. I also sent in the link of my previous post so he could see some extra perspective. He messaged me telling me how sorry he was. He was willing to do anything not to lose us. He said he was sorry for being so weak and not protecting me, our intimacy, and our marriage. Sent me some screenshots where he tells his friend to start trying to introduce him to women and getting him to cheat. He asked for a dinner to discuss some boundaries they need to set in their friendship and respect he should have for his marriage. My husband asked me to come along to this dinner so I can see myself that it's true he's setting boundaries and it will put distance between them too. Also agreed to some kind of counseling to deal with his own trauma of losing people. I said I support him heartily, but I'm staying with my parents until dinner with his friend is over and I see some kind of improvement. That's it. Again, thanks. Edit, I'm overwhelmed by all the responses this is getting and not used to being in the spotlight. I feel so vulnerable. I'm taking a time off to figure this out. I love my husband and I miss him deathly. I miss everything about him. I hope we can be together again anytime soon. Now, what do you guys make of this one? What do you make of the update? I don't think OP's truly getting what they want in this. I think husband is still trying to twist it so we can see friend and saying he can set boundaries, but will that really just fix things? I don't know. I can't quite see it, and I might be being a bit pessimistic there, and maybe he does deserve a chance of forgiveness and, friend coming back in. But as I said before, if someone done that to my girlfriend or my wife, they talked about that body in that way, there's no way I'd want that person in my life again, to be quite honest. But what are your thoughts on this one? Let me know in the comments below. And this next story comes from Coffee Crazy. I'm either ours or for not wanting to talk about my wedding plans with my friend anymore because she keeps stealing them. I recently got engaged to my boyfriend of almost 3 years. We're hoping to get married fall of next year, so we started some wedding planning. I have a friend, F, who also got engaged a couple of months ago. We've been friends since high school and we're semi-close as far as that goes. Anyways, for the longest time she wasn't doing any wedding planning. However, now that I'm engaged too and I've started my wedding planning, she seems to have started as well. Not sure why she wasn't until now. At first we talked about simple things. She's super indecisive and I have a pretty good idea of what I want. She plans to get married next summer, so she will marry before me if it goes with her plans. I didn't mind talking to her at first. We have very different styles, so we really didn't match up with anything as far as planning goes. However, now that we're more into it, she seems to copy every idea I have. For example, I'm touring venues this weekend. She has no interest in the type of venues I am touring until I started actually wanting to go to them. What I told her my top choice of the venues. Now she's planning to book that for herself. Same goes for photographers, caterers, decor, dresses, etc. Literally every wedding planning, she has either copied me, plans to copy me, or semi-alters my idea to make it seem like she isn't. Now, I'm not trying to gatekeep my wedding by any means. I don't mind have some of the same things going on, but at this rate, her entire wedding will be just like I am planning, and she is getting married before me, so it will come off as I am copying her, which isn't the case. She's basically let me do all the research for things and ask me questions about them, waits until I make a decision, then makes the same decision as me. It's like she knows she's getting married first anyways, so technically won't be copying anyone if she does it first. So I have stopped talking to her about my wedding planning. At first I brushed her off like, oh, I haven't looked into that yet, or I'm waiting to plan that, just so I didn't have to give any details on things. However, she has figured out something is up and is calling me an asshole for shedding about to my wedding planning. In reality, I think she's just mad I'm not giving her any more details. Am I the asshole here? I don't want to come off as a bridezilla, and if it was just a couple of things like using the same photographer or caterer, or just stuff that doesn't matter behind the scenes, I wouldn't care at all. But so far she's using the same florist, same flowers also, venue, color scheme, decor, etc. And I totally get the frustration in this one, not from a wedding point of view, but it happens. And so we've seen stories in the past where it's happened from different things as well, where people they're doing all the research and then someone comes along and then copies all the ideas and then, tries to take credit for it. It's really frustrating. Like in studying research, we've seen stories like in YouTube channels, we've seen stories. Yeah, it just goes on and on. It's really frustrating to see. So I totally get it. But let's check out some of the comments to see what they say. Ozzy Lamia says, not the arsehole, but make it some weird stuff about your wedding instead. Use sunflowers instead of roses. Have clowns perform in color scheme, orange and purple. Have a herd of sheep at the reception. Play with their mind a bit. Twitch Sweep in 1985 says, not the arsehole, throw off the scent. Research having a wedding at the safari park at feed an hour for the big cats. Show her the Princess Leia outfit you're decided on with matching bun hairdo. Tell her that a ranch dressing fountain is a must-have for the buffet and oil flowers will be cactus arrangements. And Glory Desire says, not the arsehole. A lot of Redditors are suggesting throwing off the scent with bad ideas, but that's just petty. This isn't cool what she's doing. She just really may need help and doesn't know who to turn to and is doing this instead. Don't be afraid to tell her that it isn't cool. If it's that big of a deal, then she isn't really your friend anyway. Just tell her straight up you want a unique wedding and you've noticed her taking major parts of your theme, planning for her own, and you just really don't want to have matching weddings, especially since hers are going to be first. If she says she won't use your ideas, but still wants to know them, then it's up to you to decide whether to share them. But I personally wouldn't. Better to stick to your guns of keeping your ideas to yourself than find out she isn't trustworthy when it's too late. And Careless Manuel says, she's taking your venue, photographer, caterer, decor, and dresses, and only now you've stopped telling her. I mean, what is left? Wedding invites. She isn't really a friend if she's acting this way and taking your research choices and her response to you when you stop volunteering the info. She doesn't respect you at all. Is that okay for you? Either tell her outright what she has done and say it has saddened you, or decide this isn't a friendship anymore and move on. And you did what now says, not the arse. You can outright say it to her because she is using all the same things as you that you don't want to talk about it anymore. You could say that you want the rest of the wedding to be a surprise and she'll find out on the day. Go back to shared vendors and explain what's happened and ask what can be done that they are not identical, e.g. fourth love to your wedding. Ask that you don't share this info with her. They know you booked them first. And now I turn this one to you guys. What would you do in this situation? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And this next story is from Write Another Woods. Am I the arsehole for not telling a kid on the spectrum what's in my wallet? This literally just happened in the last minute, and I'm riled up, so please forgive the formatting. I'm at work and was checking out a family of 3. I work at a hotel, when the kid sees my wallet on the counter behind me. He proceeds to ask me what's inside, and I said money because he's around 6 to 7. But he's not satisfied. He wants to know specifically what's in my wallet. So the parents tell me that their kid is on the spectrum, and one of his triggers is not knowing what's inside of things. He needs to know, and if he doesn't, he have a full-blown meltdown. Then they ask if I could just open my wallet for him. This is where I might be the arsehole. I said that I'm sorry they have to deal with that, but I'm not going to open my wallet to a stranger. The kid immediately went into full hyperventilating meltdown after screaming bloody murder. An argument ensued where the mother begged me to open my wallet, but I still said no and asked them to leave. Ultimately, I had to tell them if they don't leave, I'll call the police. This is when Dad started hurling insults at me for being an arsehole because all I had to do was open my wallet. It wasn't until I actually picked up the phone and started dialing that the dad scooped up his kid and they left. I'm still shaking. I feel like I'm going crazy here, but I'm not the arsehole in this situation, am I? Edit, I've calmed down now, so I want to make a few things clear. Number 1, my hotel has no security whatsoever. It was built in the 70s and never once upgraded. We don't even have security cameras. 2, I don't know how anyone could interpret it this way, but I was not calling the police on the kid. I was calling the police on the parents for refusing to vacate and escalating the situation when the father started hurling expletives at me. 3, a surprising number of people were asking about my wallet being in plain sight. My wallet was on a counter shelf behind me, roughly 10 feet away from the guests. It was there because I empty my pockets when I get to work. Usually, I put them on my workstation, out of sight, but the overnight worker was still here, so I took them out on the counter/shelf. I just hadn't gotten around to moving in there yet. 4, I hope this is the last edit, but I keep seeing a lot of people bringing up police escalating a situation to dangerous levels if they are intervened. I am in Canada. Yes, the kind of police incidents some people are describing certainly do happen, but honestly, that type of escalation is so rare here that I honestly can't think of anyone I know could name such an incident off the top of their head. I'm not saying it wouldn't or couldn't happen. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. God knows the First Nations community of Canada have every reason to hate the police. I'm just saying I can reasonably expect it wouldn't in this scenario. And we're going to start right away with Reasonable Raccoon saying they shouldn't expect strangers to jump through hoops just so they don't manage their kids' problems. Whatever is in your wallet is personal, not the arsehole at all. And the brass answer says, these parents are doing exactly the opposite of what should be done. Whilst I'm sympathetic to them that raising a child with profound mental disability is difficult, acquiescing to every unreasonable behavior is not the solution. Their failure to establish boundaries is what caused the issue. And it would cause more issues down the line for the kid. You're not the arsehole here, the parents are the arseholes here. They should know that expecting somebody to reveal potentially private information is unreasonable, and that nobody has an automatic right to know what is inside any object, especially when said object contains sensitive or confidential information. And Teal says not the arsehole. Anyone who says differently is crazy. Here's the exact amount of money I have in this wallet in the open at a workplace where I am frequently distracted. It's the same amount of money I will be carrying as I walk to my car after my shift. This is my full name, birthday, and driver's license number. Here's my home address where you can easily estimate where I'm not here by my current shift. Here's my credit card and insurance info. Do with that info what you will. Of course, you shouldn't open your wallet for strangers, just like you wouldn't lock your phone if this kid was triggered by home screens. Secure your wallet during your shift. Don't leave valuables just sitting around. And now I turn this one to you guys. What would you do if you was put in that situation? Would you have showed the inside of your wallet to someone, to strangers? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Now, once again, guys, thank you for being here today. I hope you did enjoy today's stories. And if you did, you know what to do. Hit that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell too. And if you want to support the channel further, you absolutely can, but never, ever any pressure to do so by clicking that join button down below for YouTube or clicking the link in the description for Patreon and joining up there. It's super helpful, but as I said, never any pressure to do so. Thank you so much for your love, support, and time, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Much love.